They want you to keep distracting yourself, thinking that working harder will take you further. But what they don't tell you is that there's a different way to build wealth, a silent way, almost invisible. And the ants, yes, the ants, knew this long before we did. Have you ever stopped to look at an ant trail? Like, really look? Not just glance while sipping coffee or waiting for the elevator. I'm talking about stopping, observing, and trying to understand what's going on there. I did that once. It sounds silly, I know, but it was on a day when my head was full, work pressure, piling up goals, a demotivated team. And then I saw them, walking quickly, determined, carrying leaves bigger than their own bodies. And without making a fuss, without a yelling boss, without a pointless meeting. That's when a strange thought struck me. Why don't we work like ants? Because, look, they don't waste time competing with each other. There's no ego battle, no who's going to show up more. There's focus, there's clarity of mission. Each one knows exactly what they need to do, and they do it. And the craziest thing? There's no one giving orders. There's no hero leader. There's a system, rhythm, collective instinct. And then I thought, do we, deep down, know how to work as a team? Or have we just learned to run alone, pretending to be part of a team? It's hard to think about that, isn't it? Because when you start to really observe, and not just the ants, but the very patterns of our routine, you see that there's something very wrong with the way we produce. We run, and at the end of the day, it seems like nothing has changed. The to-do list grows, the mind gets heavy, and the feeling of frustration returns with a vengeance. Have you ever felt this way? You end the day exhausted, but empty. Not because you didn't work, but because you worked the wrong way. And that, no one teaches you that. No one tells you that productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing together. It's about building like a colony. It's about understanding your role in the system without getting lost trying to embrace the world. The ants taught me this. Seriously, it may seem like an exaggeration, but that afternoon, sitting on the sidewalk, watching a miniature world functioning in perfect order, I understood something that no motivational talk, no expensive book, no coaching video had shown me. True productivity is silent. It's humble. It's invisible to the distracted eye, but it's powerful, and it only exists where there is collective purpose. Now, let me ask you something. Do you truly know what your role in this system is? Or are you just carrying random sheets of paper, hoping one day someone will say, "Congratulations, now you've been productive"? It's strange, isn't it? We think we're in control, but often, we're just pieces on a board we don't even fully understand. What if I told you there's a real, simple, natural model, one that can completely transform the way you work and live? Something most people ignore, but that can unlock a level of clarity and results you've never experienced before? Calm down. I'm not going to tell you now. There's a key, a specific behavior of ants, that, if you apply it to your daily life, will change everything, absolutely everything, in your routine, your business, and even the way you relate to others. But to understand this, you need to be willing to see the invisible, and most people aren't, are you? You know that feeling of waking up already tired? The alarm clock rings. The room is still a little dark, the sheets a little tangled, your body heavy. You stay there, staring at the ceiling, your mind already full before you even get out of bed. And the worst part is, it's not even because of laziness. It's because of accumulated fatigue from life. You take a deep breath, get up, go to the bathroom. The mirror stares back at you, and you try to convince yourself, everything will be okay today, it's just another day. But deep down, there's a small voice whispering, another day like this. Have you ever noticed this? How we go on autopilot, and don't even realize we're stuck. The coffee goes cold in the cup, the same old table, the same notifications, the same invisible pressure to be more, produce more, show more results. But no one asks if you're okay. And then, in the midst of the rush, that uneasiness hits. You feel like you're doing a lot, but everything feels kind of empty. Tasks become numbers, meetings become noise, and time, which should be your greatest ally, starts to feel like a cruel, impatient enemy. It's like you're carrying a giant leaf on your back, like an ant, only without knowing where you're going. And the worst part? You look around, and it seems like everyone is doing well. Everyone is producing, posting, growing. And there you are, surviving. Deep down you wonder, am I the only one stuck? Is there something wrong with me? But let me tell you something, you're not alone. This silent pain, this restlessness, this tightness in your chest that no one sees, it's in many people who seem to be winning on the outside, but are crumbling inside. And you know what's even crazier? Ants, those tiny workers, don't carry the world alone. When the weight is too much, they band together. When the path is blocked, they build another. They don't compete, they cooperate. Meanwhile, We isolate ourselves. We shut ourselves off. We pretend everything's fine while we silently implode. How many times have you forced a smile in a meeting? How many times have you choked back tears in the bathroom at work? Or stared at your computer screen with your soul completely empty? You can be an entrepreneur, an employee, a leader. It doesn't matter. The pain of disconnection is universal, and it hides in the little things. In the sound of your notification at 11 p.m., in the blue light on your phone flashing while you're trying to sleep, in the anxiety that grips you on Sunday night, in the "I'm fine" that comes out automatically, even when nothing is right. But what if I told you there's a different way to live and produce? Not a magic formula, but a code. Simple, natural, forgotten. A code that ants have followed for millions of years. And that could be the secret to regaining control of your routine and your life. But wait, it's not time to reveal it yet. First, you need to understand the invisible trap that keeps you trapped. And it's closer than you think. You know those days when everything explodes inside, but on the outside, everything stays the same? It was one of those days that the penny dropped for me. It was late afternoon, a kind of orange sky, you know? That low light that comes through the window and makes everything feel a bit nostalgic. I was sitting in front of the computer, and suddenly, everything went silent. Not that the sound stopped, no, but I stopped hearing. Notifications ringing, people talking in the hallway, messages arriving on my phone. But inside my head, silence. It was as if a part of me simply said, enough. And it wasn't an angry, explosive enough. It was a tired enough, sad, silent, as if my own body had rebelled, but with the calm of someone who's tired of screaming and not being heard. And I remember exactly the feeling in my chest. It was a tightness, but at the same time, a strange relief, as if an animal had awakened inside me. A wild animal that had spent too much time trapped in a nice, comfortable, corporate cage, but still a cage. And you know what hurt the most? It was realizing I'd accepted it. For years, I accepted overwork as commitment. I accepted exhaustion as proof of effort. I accepted loneliness as part of the game. And then I realized something that ripped my logic apart. I was fighting to win a game I didn't even want to play. You know that thing about running, and in the end, discovering you'd been on the wrong track all along? It was exactly that. A mixture of anger and relief, shame and freedom, pure paradox. On the one hand, I felt like an idiot. How had I not realized this before? On the other hand, it was as if someone had opened a window after years of being locked in a dark room. I saw it clearly, and I couldn't unsee it. The way we work today, it's sick. But that's not the scariest part. It's that we think it's normal. We call it routine. We call it busyness. We call it adulthood. But deep down, it's just modern slavery disguised as ambition. And the most perverse thing is that this prison has no bars. It has Wi-Fi, an ergonomic desk, and a career path. But still it sucks your soul. It was at that moment that everything changed. Not because I decided to change, but because I couldn't stay the same anymore. From that moment on, I started looking at the details no one sees. I began to study the ant system with new eyes, and I discovered a pattern, a code, a silent instinct that could be the antidote to this modern madness. And that's what I'm going to show you now. But first, you need to face the hardest truth of all. Maybe the way you work today is keeping you from the life you want. You can keep living like this. Yes, you can keep waking up tired, pretending everything's under control, answering emails as if that were progress. You can keep posting motivational quotes while crumbling inside. You can keep carrying the heaviest paycheck in the company without knowing if anyone will ever recognize your effort. Or you can stop. Now, breathe. Really, close your eyes for 2 seconds and ask yourself, am I really living the life I imagined, or just following a script someone wrote for me? That's the dilemma. That's the inevitable confrontation. Because no matter how hard you run, no matter how many courses you take, how many goals you achieve, how many late nights you sacrifice, if you're going in the wrong direction, you'll only get to the wrong place faster. And that's what almost no one realizes. The toxic productivity that consumes us doesn't look like a villain. It disguises itself as commitment, as ambition, as do more, sleep less. As if you want something, you find a way. But deep down, it's just a hole where you pour your health, your presence, your creativity, and get back a number, a report, an empty compliment. Pause. Breathe again. Because maybe, and I know this will hurt, maybe you're waiting for recognition from a system that will never applaud you. And now you have a choice. It's not easy. It's not quick, but it's yours. You can continue being just another cog, just another gear spinning endlessly. Or you can start thinking like an ant. Not the isolated, sacrificed ant, but the one that's part of a whole, of a real construction. of something that grows together, sustainable, alive. Because, in the end, the question that matters isn't how much do you do, it's who are you building for and why. And then you think the video is over, but it's not. Because I still haven't told you what makes ants never give up. Even when the path is destroyed, even when the load is 10 times their size, even when everything collapses, there's a secret, a silent principle that moves entire colonies. And that principle is what you need to understand before your motivation destroys you. I'll tell you, but only if you're ready to start over in a different way. And maybe, just maybe, we're not here to carry leaves bigger than us all the time. Maybe the real work is figuring out why we started carrying them in the first place. Because at the end of the day, even ants know when to stop, to retreat, to reorganize the trail, to start over the right way. But not us. We'll even break, just to prove to no one that we can. And now, I leave you with a question. Not to answer now, but to let it brew inside, in silence, in the back of your mind, between a coffee and some random notification. What if what you call effort is actually just an escape? You'll remember this later, maybe tomorrow, maybe in the middle of an empty meeting, or in the silence of a Sunday night. But you will remember, and when you remember, maybe it's time to come back here, to hear, again, what you pretended you didn't hear the first time.